Hello Saints, thank you once again for tuning in. Today's message is titled, Who You Gonna Call? And the reason that I'm going to release this message is because of all the violence that is taking place against our public servants. The police are here to keep order, and there are many who hate the police for what they do, but you know what? I love them because we have the authority, the police that keep order. Without police, there would be total anarchy. People would do whatever they please to do, and there would be no control over anything. There would be total confusion, and people would live in fear. But because we have the police officers of the day, our public servants, we know that we can call upon them in a time of need. The message, who you gonna call? I'm gonna start with an article that I found on the internet. And this article says, 10 Colorado officers shot, 3 killed in the line of duty over past 5 weeks. Denver has been a difficult, or it says in Denver, it has been a difficult time for Colorado law enforcement agencies over the past 5 weeks. 10 officers have been shot, 3 of whom were killed in the line of duty during 3 separate incidents involving 5 departments since December 31st. The latest shooting occurred in Colorado Springs Monday afternoon when a car theft suspect shot and killed El Paso County Deputy Michael Flick. I am so sorry that this happened to you, Officer Michael Flick, and I send my condolences to your family and to your children because you were there to uphold the law and to do what's right. And it is obvious that you knew the Lord. And this is another reason why I am recording this message, because a lot of these police officers, they know the Lord, and they have put their lives on the line in order to be there and to help those that are in need. When you call 911, they are there to help you. When you are being raped, when murder is taking place, when violence is taking place, who are you going to call? It's not going to be your neighbor. It's not going to be your friends. It's going to be 911, and it is going to be the police. I am standing now at City Hall, or the police office down in Greenwood Village near where I reside. And I want to honor the police officers, letting them know that because we have them, there is order. Back to the article. 3 other officers, 2 deputies, and a Colorado Springs police officer were wounded and a bystander was also injured. The unidentified male suspect police were attempting to contact when the shooting occurred amid a struggle is dead. Good, and he should be. That way we ain't got to waste any money trying to take him to court and try to prove that he's guilty, because he is guilty, and one thing that proves that he's guilty, because he is dead. A good place for him. It says, Monday's shooting comes just 2 days after the Adams County Sheriff's Office laid to rest one of their own. Funeral service for Heath Gum, an Adams County deputy, were held in Lafayette on Friday. Gum was shot and killed in an altercation with a suspect in Thornton the night of January 21st. The 31-year-old deputy and another officer were responding to an assault call when the shooting occurred. About 3 weeks prior to the Thornton shooting, another Colorado officer was killed by gunfire. Douglas County Deputy Zach Parrish was killed in a shootout early on New Year's Eve. 4 other officers, including a Castle Rock police officer and 2 civilians, were injured in the New Year's Eve shooting before the suspect was killed. Good for the suspect. And you know what? It's a shame that the ones who are here to uphold the law are being hated. The ones who are here to help in time of need are being come against, and violence is being raised up against them. This ought not to be, because these people who are our public servants, they are the ones that are put in place so that these things won't happen, so that violence won't take over, so that hate and violence and trouble will not run our society. This is the reason why we have police officers. They keep order in our society. When something happens to your mother, your aunt, your brother or sister or cousin, you are not going to call anyone but the police. And this is the reason why I entitled this message, Who Are You Going to Call? Starting in Romans 13, verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God, speaking of the police officer, for he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger, to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers, attending continually upon this very thing. Render therefore to all their dues, tribute to whom tribute is due, custom to whom custom, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. And yes, these police officers should be honored by us. They should not be hated, because even the criminals out there that have mothers, sisters, brothers, cousins, and friends, if violence takes place and someone is murdered, you're going to call the police. If violence takes place and someone is taken advantage of, you're going to dial 911. If somebody in your family is taken advantage of about someone that you cannot get the upper hand on, you will call the police and allow them to handle the ordeal for you. I thank God so much for the police officers, that they do keep law and order in our society, because without it, it would be complete anarchy. This is the reason why I want to honor the police officers and letting them know that I love them, and I love them for what they do. And I'm quite sure that I am not the only one in this society that appreciate our police officers. Yes, they are the ones that keep order. Yes, they are the ones that make sure we are safe. When we are in our homes sleeping, the police officers are on their jobs. When we are at our jobs working, the police officers are taking care of businesses. When criminals and crooks think that they have gotten away with the most evil things, police are working overtime in order to bring them to justice. You know, sometimes my wife and I watch these police or detective shows online, and sometimes they'll have like these cold cases where these criminals have committed like a heinous crime, and it could be one of the most heinous things in the world that they have done, and then they have the audacity and the nerve to think that they have gotten away with the crime that they have committed. And when they are caught, it brings joy to me. It allows me to know that there is some good being done in this world, although the world is filled with those people who are evil and are wrong, and their bent is correct. Yes, our world is filled with them, and because of our police officers, we are not overrun with evil. We are not overrun with lawlessness. We are not overrun with violence, and therefore we can be thankful. The police officers that were recently killed here in Colorado, it seems that most of them, they really knew the Lord, because they were having prayer vigils and services at the churches that these officers belonged to. And this shows and it demonstrates that these men are determined to do what's right, and that they have put their lives on the line by taking a job that doesn't pay millions of dollars. It doesn't pay dividends in the future, but it is a service that they do for the public, and it is something that we need to honor them for. Yes, they should be honored, and yes, they should be loved for the thing that they do. They uphold the law, and they do what is right. Now, there are some officers that they may be tainted, and they may be crooked, and they may do those things that are untoward, but that does not say that the majority are evil. The majority of the officers are good. The majority of the officers want to do what is good, and they want to do what is right. This is the reason why we have police officers and police stations in existence now today, and I'm glad for it. I live near this police station in Greenwood Village, which is also the city hall as well, and I'm glad that this place is here, because this is something that tells us that we have law here in our community. This is something that tells us that we have help here in our community when violence takes place. This tells us that we can be safe in our communities. And this tells us that we can call on someone when we feel unsafe, when violence is done against us, when we are hated, when we are robbed, when we are raped and almost attempted murdered. This is a place that we can come knowing that the police will do their jobs. I want to honor the officers, and I don't know if I said it before in this message, but I want to offer my condolences to the families that have lost fathers, dads, husbands, and friends, And also, I want to say that I am grateful for the work that they have done. And those officers that I have not met this side of eternity, I do look forward to meeting them when I stand before Jesus and be judged for all the things that I have done in this world. And I will be thankful that they are there in heaven, because I am grateful that they were here on earth. And again, we need to honor our police officers, as it said in the scripture, that we should give honor to whom honor is due. And yes, they deserve to be honored. They deserve to be praised for the things that they do. Without our police officers, as I have said before, it would be total confusion, total anarchy. People would do whatever they wanted to do, and it would be total and complete lawlessness. And this is the reason why I am thankful for the officers. All of the violence against our police officers, it needs to stop. You know, I have not always been on the right side of the law, and I have not always seen eye to eye with them, but in my maturity and growing up and seeing how this world is, there is a need for police officers. And when people become police officers, they put their lives on the line, and they put their families in the way to suffer harm when they lose their lives or are injured for doing that which is good. And this is the reason why we should honor them. This is the reason why we should look up to them. And this is the reason why police officers, detectives, no matter who they are, if they work in law enforcement and they are doing what is right, they should always be honored. And again, those police officers who were killed here in Colorado, I am very sorry that that has happened. And I'm very sorry that these families have lost a father, a dad, a husband, and a friend. It is a very tragic situation, but it also lets us know that there are people in this world who are determined to do good, and those who are determined to do evil will be dealt with. Some will be dealt with this side of eternity, and those who think that they are escaping judgment by doing whatever they do to leave this life will not escape judgment, because they will stand in front of the one who judges us all. Those police officers who were killed in the line of duty, the Lord will not have mercy on them, because these men are his ministers, to minister that which is right and that which is good. And if you are one that go against what is good and the law and what is right, then you should fear the law. But if you are doing what is right, and you know that you are doing what is right, you should have respect and honor unto the one that upholds those things, that allows us to live in a society that can remain free of blatant, outright violence and crime. It's just like a lot of times a thief is deterred in the night when he knows that the police is coming. And for the same reason that a sinner is not looking for Jesus, crooks are not looking for police officers, because they know that they are doing wrong. And I do pray that those who are doing wrong are caught, and that they are dealt with. And those who are evil, that do things against our law enforcement officers, I pray that they will be caught, and that they will be dealt with in the most severe manner, and that there will be no mercy to those who had no mercy on our public servants who were there to serve us and to do what's right. I want to honor the Lord first of all, and I also honor those fallen officers, and I honor those officers who are at work today and who did go to work today, in order that we may have law in our society as opposed to disorder and anarchy. I do pray that the Lord will add a blessing with this message.